What's quack-a-lackin'? You read that title correctly indeed. I said it, I meant it. YouTube is scared. They are scared, and they're scared for good reason. But it's nothing really for you to be concerned about, because YouTube being scared is actually good news for you as a content creator. And I want to describe for you exactly what I'm talking about. But let me find a place where I can post up, sit down, organize my thoughts, and then we will jump right into it. But absolutely, and before I go any further, let me just clarify that I love YouTube. I do. I love this platform, and I love the opportunity that it creates for people, but just as a human being with a soul, it brings me a little bit of delight to see the parent company get as scared as they are. But let me find a place to sit down and organize myself, and then I will tell you all about why YouTube is scared and what this means for you as a content creator. All right, we've sat down now. That's a little bit better. I've been walking around this place for hours, and the old duck's legs are getting tired. I wanted to sit down. So let me just give you a quick little view. It's absolutely beautiful out here. I'm still at Blue Mountain State Park, where I filmed this week's vlog over on the Quackers World channel. And before I left, I just wanted to stop and address what I said here, because I did say that YouTube is scared. So I want to explain to you what I mean when I say that. Unless you have been living under a rock the last couple of weeks, you will have seen two major announcements come out of YouTube. And I already know it's been talked to death. You've seen it on 100 different channels. It's explained 100 different times, people saying the same thing over and over and over. I get it, because I've experienced it myself. I've seen all the same videos. We've probably commented in some of the same ones, in fact. But one thing I haven't seen is not a single one of these people explaining this from the perspective that I see. And I don't think that they see this perspective. And it's strange to me, because it seems very obvious to me. The first change, the one I want to address first, is the one that people are making the biggest deal about. It's getting the most amount of panic. And in the overall scheme of things, it is the least significant thing for you to be thinking about right now. And that is that when YouTube announced the change of requirements pertaining to the number of watch time hours that you have to reach in order to become monetized into the YouTube Partner Program. They announced that as of February 1st, anyone who is already in the program is grandfathered in, and anyone new from that point forward, instead of having to meet a 4,000 watch hour threshold, you have to meet 8,000 hours. And people feel like this is incredibly impossible. And you see a lot of comments like, this is the end of YouTube, or I'm going to quit making content. Which, to those people, they're probably making it for the wrong reason in the first place. But you see all of this, but I want to put this into perspective for you, because it's far from the first time that we saw this. When YouTube first created the partner program, you didn't need any watch time hours. All you needed was 1,000 subscribers, and that was hard enough to get. They didn't need to add any additional requirements onto it. But as the platform began to grow, it became a little bit easier to reach that 1,000 subscribers. And they began to see that subscribers were not going to be the most important factor moving forward. So they added on initially a requirement of needing 1,000 watch time hours. And as time went on, the platform grew a little bit more. So it became a little bit easier to reach that 1,000 requirement. So they doubled it to 2,000 watch time hours. And as time went on and the platform grew and matured and the audience expanded, it became easier to reach 2,000. So they doubled it again to 4,000. And this doubling from 4,000 to 8,000 is simply the latest iteration of that. And it's kind of comical, because I've been, as a content consumer, as someone who watches videos, I've seen this time and time again on YouTube already in the past. And I saw the same thing every time. Everyone always panicked. They said that this is the end of YouTube. I'm quitting the platform. I'm going to close my channel. I'm going to black it out. And they had all the same nonsense reactions that we see people having today. But what I want you to realize is that what this just means is that what it means at its core is that it is easier today for you to get views and watch time on your channel. It's easier today than at any point in the platform's history. And it has become so much easier that that 4,000 watch hour threshold just doesn't have the same weight that it used to carry. And so they're making this adjustment to bring back that weight. And that's really what this is at its core. And so when you see that, I don't want you to think of it in terms, oh my God, this is an impossible requirement, I can never make it. No, I want you to look at it as a sign that it's never been easier for you to do this. This is the best possible time for you to be getting in, because this platform has the largest audience that it's ever had in its history. And in fact, more people are watching YouTube videos on television today than on Netflix, Peacock, or any other online streaming platform. YouTube is the undisputed king at this point. And that massive audience reach makes it easier for you to get watch time. So don't look at this change as being the end of things. Look at it as a sign that this is the absolute best time to get involved with this, because it is. It really is. And if you are going to have a negative interpretation on it, don't look at it as being impossible. Look at it as being a driving force for you to get to that 4,000 before February 1st. And I know that seems very daunting and overwhelming, but believe me, you can do it. It's 100% possible. And even if you miss that deadline, statistically speaking, for most content creators, the time distance between reaching 4,000 watch hours and reaching 8,000 watch hours is on average about 2.5 months. So because what happens is by the time you've reached 4,000, you're reaching a plateau point of exponential growth, and you grow much more rapidly. So while it may take you a long time and a lot of effort to reach 4,000, to go from 4,000 to 8,000 is actually much, much easier, much easier. And so just look at this as a good thing, that there have never been more people on the platform available to view your content. And I know that this has nothing to do with what I said about YouTube being scared. So let me lead now into the second news that YouTube has recently announced. And that is the way in which they are now counting views on the platform. Because historically, someone had to click onto your video and watch a certain number of seconds before it counted as a view, or what they are now calling an expanded view. I would prefer to refer to it as a qualified view. So in the past, someone had to watch for a few seconds before that view counted on your counter. And what they've done now is they've changed it so that any first frame interaction with that video counts as a view. So for example, if you're on someone's channel page and you hover over a video with your mouse and it plays that 5-second autoplay preview of what you will see in the video, that 5 seconds counts as a view, even though the person never clicked on the video, never opened it. That still counts as a view on that video. And there are lots of ways where people are going to try to manipulate this to run up their view counts and make their channel look bigger. It's really going to open the floodgates for those people. And there are, obviously, a decision like this isn't a cut and dry black and white thing. There are a lot of variables and nuances that go into a decision like this. And I see a very small number of people even guessing as to what some of these may be. More of them are just talking about what the end result of this change will be, rather than really doing a dive into the reasons for the change, which is where we begin to get our look at why YouTube is so scared. There's a couple of different ways to look at this, and one of them I have seen a couple of people talk about, and it's the variable that YouTube and Google would prefer you talk about. They would prefer your attention be placed on this aspect of it, and that is just simply the fact that other platforms already count their views in this manner. So if someone is to go look at TikTok and then go look at YouTube, even though YouTube is showing you much higher quality views, the end user impression is that TikTok must be superior because the views are just through the roof. And that's why they made this change initially with Shorts, was to keep up with those TikTok numbers. And once they did that, then you could clearly look at the numbers and say, oh, they're on scale with TikTok, and in many cases, they're surpassing TikTok. You just didn't know that when they were showing you the expanded views, the qualified views, which are always going to be lower. And if TikTok themselves had been based on qualified views, it would have been very much even from the offset. So they had to make that jump just because of the public perception. And that's part of what's going on here today. Is that public perception is that now, because shorts have such high views, the public perception is that no one watches long form content. And in fact, a lot of people prefer long form content, and it's the dominant content on the platform by far, especially in television viewership, which is where things are at right now. But there's a public perception that the views aren't there, and they need to correct this public perception, and they need to do it now, because when you start getting into September, that is the time in which advertisers are doing their ad spend for the holiday shopping season. They don't wait until December to buy ads for Christmas. They start booking that stuff in September. And so by the end of September, they need to be showing much bigger numbers on their long form content, both for the public perception as well as for how that public perception plays into the advertiser perception. Because if the public is perceiving this as being something with really high viewership numbers, then the advertisers buy into that as well, because all the advertisers care about is what the public thinks and what the public buys into. And so that is one aspect, a minor aspect, is that they are making this change so that they can lead into a higher perception for the holiday shopping season, so that they can be competitive in pulling in those advertising dollars, which for those of you who are monetized is a very good thing. I'm not yet monetized, and I would imagine most people watching this video aren't yet monetized. So that's the side of it that Google would rather you think about. But there's another side of it that they don't want you to even notice or even realize is happening. And that is something that's a real driving force behind this decision with the views. And what I'm talking about here is the Chinese variation of YouTube, BiliBili. Do you say BiliBili or BiliBili? Let's say BiliBili. It's easier, Hillbilly Billy. I'm a hillbilly from Arkansas. I know a hillbilly when I see one. So let's go with BiliBili. BiliBili is now coming into the North American market and are making preparations to do an incredibly strong push into the United States, both in terms of capturing viewership and in terms of pulling content creators onto their platform who produce the kind of content that this market would watch. BiliBili is getting ready to come really strong and heavy into the United States, and they're going to come out swinging. And this isn't like Newgrounds or Rumble or these other smaller offshoots that never really stood a chance of being a real toe-to-toe competitor with YouTube. BiliBili is on a whole nother level. They've got hundreds of millions of monthly active users. Companies in China are not solely private companies. There's no such thing there. All of these companies exist as a partnership with the Chinese government. It is sort of a hybrid mix. And that means that BiliBili, as a technology company, has the full financial backing and resources of the Chinese government. And that puts them in a position of being able to come and swinging for the fences and become a really serious contender to put YouTube on their toes in this marketplace. For the first time ever, YouTube is going to actually have to compete for market share. And that's something that scares them, because they've had it for too good for too long. They've never had to do anything but exist up until this point, because they were just too big for anyone to approach them. And anyone that did even think about it, they were big enough to just buy them out. So this is the first time that they've ever had real competition staring them in the face, and it scares them. And that's another reason why they are now inflating these view count numbers, because, as I said, BiliBili has hundreds of monthly active users. And if you look at videos on that platform, there are countless videos of tens and sometimes hundreds of millions of views. And these are not inflated first frame views like what YouTube's getting ready to roll out. These are legitimate, qualified views from people who are sitting down and watching this content, because what you are looking at when you are looking at BiliBili is basically the YouTube version of the most densely populated country on earth, and a platform that extends beyond that country into that entire region, which also happens to be the most densely populated region on earth. In fact, the overwhelming majority of the world's population lives within this one concentric circle that is the BiliBili zone. And now they're breaking out of that into our world. They are. And that scares YouTube. But I want you to realize that this is an amazing, incredible opportunity for you. Because when BiliBili comes into this market and they come in hard and heavy, the first thing they're going to want to be doing is luring in content creators who make the kind of content that this market wants to consume, because they realize that people in North America aren't going to want to go onto their platform and watch daytime dramas from China or Korea or Vietnam, which is really what the people in China spend a lot of time watching on that platform. They watch a lot of K-pop stars and a lot of Chinese daytime dramas, soap operas. And that's what they consume, and they understand, they're smart enough to know that our market is not going to consume that content. So they need very strongly to begin attracting content creators that will create the type of content that this audience will watch. And that puts you in a very unique position because you're right in the middle. YouTube needs you. BiliBili wants you. You're right here in the middle with both people seeing you as the prize. And YouTube's struggling so much that they're going to inflate your view counts. They're going to inflate your view counts to make you feel like a superstar so that you will stay and not get lured by this new competitor that's over here luring you with real views. Not inflated fake views, real solid views is what you're going to get there. So that's what has YouTube scared. And that's what puts you in a very unique position. And am I suggesting that you abandon YouTube and go to BiliBili? By all means not. By all means not. But what I am suggesting is that you should take this window of time to begin familiarizing yourself with that platform. It is open to you right now. You can go to BiliBili.com. You can log in. You can register an account. I've registered one myself already. It is all in Chinese, but your web browser will automatically translate that for you, so you'll get an English version, no sweat. It is confusing to me. I'm still learning my way around it because they have all these systems based on coins and credits, and I'm not sure what you do to accumulate these coins. If you get those for uploading, if you get them for watching, I'm not sure if the coins are having to be used for uploads, that you need a certain number of coins for each upload. I'm not really sure how it works. It's totally foreign and unfamiliar to me, and it's going to be foreign and unfamiliar to you as well. But it's worth taking the time to learn it. At this stage, start duplicating some of your YouTube content onto that platform. Maybe your content that didn't perform as well on YouTube will perform very well in front of that audience. So at the very least, your worst videos, just put them over there. And maybe put one or two of your best videos to see what they do over there. But just start duplicating some of your content over on the BiliBili platform so that you can take this window of time to start familiarizing yourself with how it works, because it is much different than YouTube and there's going to be a learning curve. So this is when you want to get that learning curve addressed. But B, just to start slowly backfilling a content library there, which will probably lead to you getting an earlier following. And that will get you better positioned so that later on, when these two giants really do go head to head, you don't get crushed in the middle. You expand out of it and blow up, and you could blow up on both platforms, but it doesn't hurt to put your content on both of them. So yeah, YouTube is very scared. They're afraid right now of BiliBili, and for every reason they should be. But this is good news for you because it gives you an alternative to YouTube. If you're unhappy with the 8,000 watch hours and you really are dedicated to leaving the platform, you have an alternative, a real alternative to go to. But for me, I look at it as an expansion of my creator journey. This is a whole new place to put my platform in front of a whole new set of people who would normally have never seen it. And what I can tell you is that people on the other side of the world, when they love to see things that are different. People in China, they really love to see different things. And that's true not just of China, but anywhere in the world. When I first moved up to this area, I had spent the last 6 years living in the middle of a national forest, which was incredibly gorgeous, just surrounded by forests. but it was all trees. And then when I come up here, you have all these wide open spaces like what you see behind me. And just the fact that it was contrast, it was different. It made it overwhelmingly beautiful to me. And that's what viewers on the other side of the world will experience with your content, because things look so different and the perspective and the outlook is so different than what they see day to day. It makes it interesting to them and they will watch it. You know, I think that someone in China or Vietnam is far more likely to watch one of my vlogs here in Minnesota or South Dakota than what they would probably watch if I was vlogging in Hanoi, just because it's different and it has a contrast, which gives them a little bit of a mental escape. And that's mostly what people are looking for when they watch videos online. They're just looking for a little bit of a break, and this gives it to them. So anyway, that's the message for today. YouTube is scared, and they have every reason to be. I don't blame them. If I were in their shoes, I would be scared too. I would. But this is very, very good news for you. So take this time, get over that learning curve, because there's definitely going to be a learning curve with BiliBili. And as I learn it, I'll try to update you and let you know the things that I've figured out about it. And I would appreciate it if some of you would do the same back to me. But get through the learning curve right now while it's still really early, and start backfilling that content library with things you've already made. You've already uploaded them to YouTube. The work is done. Just duplicate them on BiliBili and get the most out of it. It's in your own best interest. So that's all I've got for today. The sun's going to be setting soon, so I need to get packed up and get out of here. Thank you so much for listening to me babble. As always, I'm very appreciative for every minute that you give me. I truly am. So thank you so much for watching me today. I love you guys. Quackers out.